Make sure my sound is right. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy, the world-class smartass. I'm in the building tonight for another edition of Outlaw Radio, man. Complicated on a Saturday night, riding solo dolo. Shout out to Brother Talk. Shout out to my sister Coop Coop. Shout out to everybody who supports the show. Please get in touch with 3041 North. Mr. Terry is a deep brother who does a lot of great business in the community. 414-810-3131. Holla at Dante Chestnut and the DAMG ENT Music Group. KT Killingham's project is out right now. Doing real well from what I understand. Shout out to KT Killingham. He's been on the show. If you like what we do here, hit like, hit follow. Let me know how you feel. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. It is the People's Network on YouTube. A little short boogaloo with Outlaw Radio, complicated. Run down some current events, talk about a few things. Hit me up in the chat room. Let me know what y'all would like to discuss. Like I said, hit like, hit share the live. Let people know Outlaw Radio is in the building doing it once again. Let me see if I got anybody in here. I know on YouTube we're live. I see nobody in the super chat. Get the live cracking, man, for Outlaw Radio tonight. Complicated. Who else did I forget to shout out? Oh, Kamar Carter, man. We will be right back at you with the Warrior Report Wednesday night, 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. We're going to do that. It's going to be another great show. We had a great show last week with Brother Carter in here talking about holistic medicine and herbs and all these kinds of things, all the things that we need to be interested in terms of dealing with our wellness. So shout out to Kamar. He'll be in. Again, it's going to continuously grow, man. It'll always be good. All we are about is disseminating information, pertinent information to Black people. Information that Black people should be concerned about. There's some things in the news that serve as distractions. And it's like, why should I care about that? Well, we try to stick to the things that you should care about on here. That's why we talk a little politics. We talk a little current events. We do what we do, man. We try to mix it up and keep it valid. So tonight on Outlaw Radio, I want to do complicated. And the reason why I decided to title the show Complicated is because I truly believe that right now we live in a day and time of very complicated issues. We are a very complicated people. We have a lot of different needs and a lot of different issues that we need to work on. Therefore, it's complicated. Anytime we talk men and women, and we talk relationships, or anything of that nature, it becomes complicated. When you get more than 5 people in a room together and you try to discuss something, it becomes complicated. So there's a lot of different pieces of the puzzle, especially when it comes to our community, that we need to address. And each piece is its own individual part. I always say it's the sum of its parts because everything is all counted, right? Like you can't address literacy and poverty unless you address a disproportionate conviction rate in the courtrooms. If you don't put in institutionalized racism, if you don't put in white privilege, if you don't put in lack of solidarity, those are pieces that if they don't go in, the whole machine won't work. So it's very complicated when we start to discuss our community. It is a lot going on in the community right now. Summerfest is going down. I thought that this was supposed to be disrupted. I'm waiting to see. I'm waiting to see what's going to pop, man. I think people's complain a lot of times about any kind of movements or stances that they may or may not take towards something, be it social justice or whatever. They say it doesn't matter what I say because ain't nothing going to happen anyway. So is it just status quo as usual in Wisconsin where it's the same old, where we just get to, go down to Summerfest, spend some money, go downtown, spend some money. They build something downtown and don't care about us not having any money, right? So it's a continuous circle. Complicated tonight. I couldn't just pick one issue. I wanted to kind of try to touch on them all. So welcome to the show. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Hit like, hit share, hit follow, share the live. Let everybody know. Give me a second. We got to set up here. Brothers just got in and let me fix something. Oh, okay. Back at it on Saturday night. Outlaw Radio is live on Facebook. It's live on YouTube. My brother just got into the studio. Talk to the people, man.
Brother, talk to teach, listen to learn your truth. Transfer engineer. Man, I'm here. Y'all forgive me for being late. A few things, daddy duty calls and whatnot. But man, my brother's never at a loss for words, so I'm sure you didn't miss a beat.
Well, I would like to think I didn't, but I'm sure somebody could think of something I didn't say. Shout out to you if you're watching. Hit like, hit share, follow Shed Alive, follow the YouTube page. We need the subscribers. We need an outlet for 414 on Facebook, y'all. I'm trying to give Milwaukee a voice so nobody won't have to come here from CNN and try to tell us what's going down with our city. But I was talking about complicated, man, and Brother Jason just got in, so it's Outlaw Radio Complicated tonight. Like I said, there's so many different moving parts to what goes on in our country, and in particular in the Black community, it's so many different moving parts. There's, and there's a different agency to deal with each problem. But more often than not, they don't work together. So you got somebody who addresses hunger, somebody who addresses food, somebody who addresses, shelter, but they don't work together. And each you can and can't do to get involved or receive services or whatever. And it's really not just about that. There's a lot of moving parts to the machine that we live in when we try to get this money. For the economic portion of what bothers Black people, what ails us, is the money. And you got to have the paper. If you don't got the paper, you don't got nothing. So complicated tonight, man. The nature of men and women, our relationships, complicated, man. What you think about that, bro?
Man, I think that's very true. They find a way to simplify when it comes to locking you up. You see how the law enforcement system seem to run together from state to state and cooperate, and so does the welfare system and the DMV driver license. So when it works in their favor, they find a way to simplify it. But yes, when it comes to us and you start talking about reparations and things like that, suddenly it gets complicated.
Clearly Clever from the YouTube page. He says, "Where's your main man? Where's your ride or die at?" He must have went to take a leak. There's no way he's gonna let you fly solo. Shout out to Clearly Clever, boy.
I'm slow but sure, y'all. I'm slow but
that
sure.
YouTube here, boy. It goes down. Yes, get in that top chat on YouTube, man. It goes down, man. But yeah, so like what you were saying, did you reference reparations?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
And please, if you're gonna talk about reparations, please understand that that's very complicated. Which is a perfect reason why we don't actually have it right now, because it's so complicated and it's so crazy. People will say, well, why is that complicated? I think you could pick up many different reasons as to why it's an issue right now. Even though I got mad at strongly one way or the other.
So let me ask you in a different way, right? Okay, reparations, and since we kind of slid off onto that topic, have to be complicated.
Man, it shouldn't be.
Because I don't believe that it has to be complicated. I think that we have entities that make it complicated.
No doubt, right? No doubt.
The same way if you try to pass a bill, right, and then you have all of these different things that are added on if we truly lived in a democratic society, can we just vote whether or not abortion will be legal? Can we just vote whether or not there's a death penalty? Can we just vote?
You know what? That's a good question, but
it's not complicated.
It's a good question, but to say, do we live in a democratic society? But some people would argue the fact that there is no absolute and it has to be worked out between these parties. They would say that's a demonstration of democracy. It can't just be the Republicans' way. We're not going to vote because, of course, the Republicans and the Democrats don't act like cats and dogs and Hatfields and McCoys, and they're going to fight and scratch and claw. And sometimes it's something that's for the greater good, and they just won't agree with each other just out of simple spite, just out of I'm not going to give you the joy of helping you.
Well, what I call that is the illusion of choice.
Right.
Because real talk, if you really had a choice, why are those the only two options? You giving me the choice of Pepsi or Coke, but I'm telling you I don't want cola.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
I said coffee.
If you really had a choice, you wouldn't have just those two options. It's an illusion.
So once again, and that in itself, the explanation of that becomes complicated because everybody, I don't like to call people dumb or stupid, but I'm just saying some people don't speak academics. Some people, they do, but they do it in their own way. Like you don't want to hear some of my people's explanation about what or how our system actually works. Like if they try to really just verbalize it, it might come out crazy.
Right.
It might come off kind of crazy. So sometimes their message is lost, right? And sometimes if you talk about it in the most technical and proper way, your point is lost to them because they don't understand shit you're saying.
Well, that's why you get a representative,
right?
And you get somebody that speaks for this group of people, and you hold them responsible. And you make sure that they actually speak for the group of people. You have a lot of people that maybe couldn't explain to you something, but that don't mean they don't understand what it is. So there's a difference. So yeah, get a representative who speaks for the people, just as long as he speaks for the people.
Right. Clearly Clever, he said he agreed with you. Illusion of choice.
Yeah.
And my boy Wayne Richards, of course.
What's up, y'all?
Clearly Clever told me to tell you he was looking for you.
Uh-oh.
So when we talk about, I kind of looked this up.
Hit me up, man.
I did some research on this, and just because it's complicated. What's complicated on the internet in regards to this? And there was a breakdown for each reason why we have a complicated relationship with certain entities. I'm gonna go over a few. Number one, police, law enforcement. Black people have a very complicated relationship with law enforcement. And like the origin of this is very simple. We know that during the times when we were enslaved and really the times when they really were teaching us what lessons they had decided they were going to teach us, we know that the sheriff of the town was usually the grand dragon of the KKK, or at least a damn member. We knew that the original law enforcement, in terms of any kind of structure for a nationwide law enforcement agency, starts with individuals who go out and hunt slaves and are deputized to do so. So like we never have really been able to trust law enforcement because more often than not, law enforcement was also enforcing said rules. So it's like, we know they ain't here to protect us. We know that they'll, mess us up just like anybody else. Like it's no protecting service. Supposedly the relationship evolved. But Black people in the community to this day, it's hard for some of us to even say that there's good cops because when they look out their window, all they deal with is the harshest, dirty, hairy, beat your ass cops. So as a result, cops don't trust you. I mean, Black people don't trust cops. I'm sorry. Blacks don't trust cops. So when they come around looking for information, a lot of people don't want to talk to them because there's also the trust. I mean, the belief that you're not going to be able to protect me from whoever did this anyway. And you can give a fuck about me, so you're going to let me get my ass twisted because I snitched and worked with you.
Right.
So once again, that's a complicated relationship. Now, we get people from our race who become cops, right? And you look at I know some brothers who look at a Black cop and say, oh, man, that's the worst kind of cop. And I'm like, why would you say that? Well, because he's going to show out for the white cop or whatever. Once again.
Sometimes that's true.
And sometimes it is. So our relationship with them is complicated. When you look at the statistic that I looked up, that said Black men are like 15%. 15% of all Black men have had some involvement with a correctional facility, and only 6% of everybody else has had contact or been to prison. Right. Especially in Milwaukee where you live, where like upwards of 45, 50% of the men, maybe even more, have been at one point or another in jail. All of this stuff makes us not trust law enforcement. So it's no myth that people feel like we had, perfect example. Last week when the officer died, you would have thought that would have been universal mourning across the board where people were just like, oh, that's so sad. And a lot of brothers didn't, they was like, shit, I don't give a fuck about but what can you say when you think about the nature, even right now, you go on the internet, ass whooping after ass whooping after ass whooping. You see cops doing all kinds of crazy stuff. So we have a very complicated relationship with law enforcement.
The only thing that makes it complicated is, and this is on every single level, is the lie, right? It's the double talk, right? It's the manipulation of numbers. You gave me some percentages about the percentage of Black people that come into contact
go to jail
with law enforcement or go to jail. Well, what do you think the numbers are for the percentage of Black people that come in contact with a Popeyes or a Rent-A-Center? Now, the reason I ask that is because they're put in our neighborhood just like the police are. So you know what I mean. The numbers you can make the numbers say what you want them to say, and that's what complicates the things. When you talk about police, when you have a police officer that dies, there are people that are mourning a peace officer. A person that is the people in the Black community know this not to be true, right? so what happens is that what makes it complicated is the double talk, the lies. If it was what you said it was, if we knew that, if you just came out and said what taxes are, instead of manipulating the words, government funded, right? What's government funded? Where does the government get the money from? Taxes? You mean
Columbia?
Okay, so it ultimately ends up being our money. So my answer to the question is, forgive me for the long answer, is what complicates everything is the lie. From the mouth of a liar, even the truth is in question. When you got to start questioning the truth, it gets complicated.
I tell you something else that's complicated about Black people and the police. As much as they say, fuck the police, I hate the police, and as soon as something happens, who do they call?
But let me ask you this: what other options do they have?
None.
But if you take it into your own hands, guess what? You going to jail.
Somebody will call the police on your ass.
You see what I'm saying?
Once again, further complicated.
Which further complicates your situation. So yeah, you know, and not to mention that they grew up in school from kindergarten to 12th grade being taught that the police are there to protect them. Right.
And then it goes on to talk about government. Black people have a very complicated relationship with our government because of pronounced agendas historically that we know were drawn up to just kind of keep us back, keep us down, and even just not even like just even destroy our perception of ourselves. A lot of government meddling. Now the government meddles in everybody's business. The U.S. government is worldwide nosy. Like they go and people like you say, what the hell are they doing over there? Well, they got a base over there. Why you got a base over there? Like it'd be like in some other country. So, but with Black people, even our inception into the country comes via the transatlantic slave trade. So automatically, the day we stepped off that boat and looked back at that white man, we said this shit gonna get real complicated sooner or later, and it did.
Way later.
And it has, and it still is, right? But government-wise, most Black people don't trust the government. You know what they call them? The system. Or they'll say them folks.
Are they wrong?
And most of the time they just say white people. And a lot of people don't understand most of the time when a Black person says white people, they really literally just mean the government. Man, you know them white people.
But it's one and the same. On the highest levels, when you go to the Supreme Court, the majority is white people. And we got a couple times, you know what I'm saying, the Sambo sprinkled in, you know what I'm saying? They get
we have a Black caucus.
Right. So stop it. But ultimately the people at the top, you know what I'm saying, of the machine that make the system go, they happen to be happen to be white. Like, stop.
Shout out to Kamar Carter, man. I see him tune in. What's up, bro?
Yes, sir.
Can't wait till Wednesday. I'm gonna hit you up. We're gonna lay it out for Wednesday when we do the Warrior Report, 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time till 9:30 p.m. It's new, so a lot of people are like, what was you doing on Wednesday? That's what it is the Warrior Report. My brother is really big on holistic medicine and herbs, and you know,
and we just really big.
Right, so right. I'm big on sandwiches, right? And vegan sandwich.
Right. I had one. I had a vegan burger the other day.
Delicious.
It wasn't bad.
Catfish are delicious. So shout out to brother Kamar, man. I see you, bro. I see you out there. And we got our first show up. And you can go back, Black Masculinity. It's on my timeline on Facebook. It's on the YouTube page too. So check that. Further complicated in my eyes, because even now that we start talking about reparations, and automatically Black people looking at it like, watch them fuck this up, right? Like, we know they're gonna pull something. There's going to be something. And I think if there's a concern when I hear somebody like Brother Talk say, all these conditions and stipulations, I don't even want to go there, because eventually they're gonna come up with some bullshit that they know is gonna keep a lot of people from getting. Mm-hmm. Once again, that's that side eye that Black America gives the government. Like, y'all be on some bullshit.
And let me tell you, listen, it's natural though.
Right.
A child can red, black, green, red, black, green, red, black, green, red, black. You know, green is coming. It's a pattern. We've seen it before, right?
Yeah.
So that's what they do. That's what they've done. That's what they're doing.
So you know, when I look at something like the Tuskegee experiment, like, and that's initiated by the government, the coolest business of this deal was that it was actually done on an HBCU campus.
with the help of some black folk.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Who actually knew what was happening.
Yes. So that's why every time I hear
that's what's complicated.
Once again, there's this it's just like everything, it starts as a straight line and then it turns into squiggles. But again, you're just like, whoa, what happened?
But again, doesn't have to be, because when enough of us realize, black folk like that need to get left behind, they want to stay on the plantation. Let them. I think it simplifies things.
Right. Once again, to simplify it seems like it's just not a human trait, or it hasn't been in a very long time, because very few things in this country are simple. Like, it's getting to the point where going to order some food in a drive-thru, they done changed the combos and shit. And it's a fat man problem, right? Our relationship with drive-thrus is complicated. Nah, bullshit. But yeah, man, so, when it comes to voting, I guess my point in this is a lot of black people won't vote. That's why our voter turnout is so low, because a lot of brothers and sisters say, I'm not even voting. I don't give a damn anyway.
And every year when you get around election time, don't they start bringing in, trying to pass these different bills, and you can vote here and you can't vote here, and you need 2 forms of ID and you don't. And again, they make it complicated. Some of this stuff is complicated. It just doesn't have to be.
Right. So, I mean, hey, I want people to think, let's not approach things from the same old angle. Let's really do critical thinking about things, like when you start to, because you got to start to ask why some of these things happen if you want to come up with a solution. So when I'm looking at something that's solution based, I start to say, well, why is this phenomena here? So if I say there's a low voter turnout, right? Like, why aren't black people voting? Then I say, well, one of the main reasons is that they don't trust the government anyways, because there's never been a president who was good for black folks. Now, Obama was good for our self-esteem.
In a whole different way. He was good for us, yes, sir.
Right. But
indirectly.
Policy-wise?
Nah.
Get back, sir.
Yeah, no.
I mean, just so I think, we start talking about the government, the CIA and the FBI, and who got a camera, and you a op, and you an agent, you undercover, and they'll put a microphone in damn near anything now. Mm-hmm. In the strip club, she got a camera in the nipple ring or something. Like, I get caught. Cheaters got you
see the inside of your mouth
with your dollar out all up in the camera and shit. So yeah, man, it's just a lack of trust, and then there's a history of lies, and there's a history of some deceit and oppression, and we've also, as people of color, have watched what you've done to other people, other nations, other races. In addition to what you've done to our race, it gets complicated. Mm-hmm. So, it's Outlaw Radio. It's complicated. Y'all let me know what y'all think is complicated, man. If y'all got something out there in the chat room, if you would say, hey, you know what, Kev, I think it's complicated. Golf. Right. To me, too, because I'm under par, over stroke. I'll get you, he got a handicap. I never wanted to take the time to figure it out. But, and this is one and the same when I say the political system, because there was some information about the 2-party system. Black people have a complicated relationship with the 2-party system. And I'm going to tell you why. Because nowadays, Republicans are supposed to be the party of the rich, racist, white privilege. And the Democrats are supposed to be the liberal, progressive, minority-loving, equal opportunity, job-creating group of politicians. But reverse that, the Democrats were the party of slavery. And the Republicans was the party of the abolitionists.
So they switched it right underneath our nose. Right. and at no point in time were either one of those parties ever our party.
No.
So again, the fact that those are the parties that we have to choose from is garbage.
So once again, you got a lot of black people who won't go. You can bring the damn booth to their front door and be like, just hit a button. They'll be like, I don't trust that shit. Why they come to my house? How you know where I live?
You got it on your Facebook page.
Right. Why are you just out here smoking one?
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, the lies make it complicated, man. It's always a double talk.
Yeah,
you know
man.
I mean, they changed the words. Back in the day, we used to be able to say a word like midget. right? And you can't now.
Right.
It's little people
Retarded.
Retarded, right? Now you can't say that.
Our language is complicated.
Remember, we used to say the word fag.
Right.
Now you can't say that.
I tell you something we used to say as youngsters. We used to say to each other all the time, "Oh man, you on some gay shit."
Yeah.
And like that was like a norm for us. And now if you say that, boy,
what do you mean? That's bullying.
The internet will string you up.
That's bullying.
Right.
Right. You know what I'm saying?
Don't gay shame.
Police beating the hell out that boy. That wasn't bullying. But okay. Anyway, so.
Don't police brutality shame.
Right.
Like everything is a shame now, right? Like somebody trip and fall and you laugh. Don't fall shame. Like get your ass out of here, man.
Body shaming.
Yeah, but you know what? Everybody's need for free speech on one hand, everybody's need to say whatever it is that they want to say, and the other person's right to whether listen or not gets complicated too. Because one person might say will offend this person. This person will get a lot of people together to tell him he's wrong, and he can no longer say that.
But then you can't say that you live in a place and protect freedom of speech, and then turn on the other hand
and have
say
censorship.
Somebody can't say something because you don't like it. First of all, understand an opinion is like an asshole. Everybody has one, and they all look and smell a little different.
Oh, Lord.
But I'm just saying. Point is,
just be talking about assholes.
You can't be offended because that's their opinion.
Right.
And as long as they're not trying to impose their opinion on you, you always have the choice to turn around and walk away.
Check my YouTube top chat. I see some action over there.
Yeah.
It's clearly clever. He said the CIA tried to stop President Trump. The government can't pave the streets properly. How are they going to give everyone health care? Because he's talking about
Canada
universal health care.
Other countries seem to know how to do it. Why don't we go and take a page out of their book and why don't we learn and find out how we can get free health care? This country's supposed to be the wealthiest country in the nation.
Right.
As advertised. So unless they're lying, which complicates things.
Yeah, man. So y'all let me know, man. I'm pretty sure we'll think of a lot of other things throughout the show that are very complicated, but they seem simple.
Chime in. That's
they should be simple, but you say, but damn, that's complicated. And I tell you what is complicated. When you got 10 Democratic potential candidates for the president of the United States, they have the first Democratic debate, and Kamala Harris is up there, and she basically steals the show and beats up on old man Biden about a bunch of different stuff.
Race,
right?
And yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
About race, but you really? You know
let's talk about Kamala Harris for people who don't know her for a second.
Yeah,
Kamala Harris is first of all an attorney.
Right.
She was once the attorney general in San Francisco, or the DA, whichever one, the top cop they call it. She then left there and went to Los Angeles, and she's got the same position. And a lot of people, because she's voted for some things that would have kind of dealt with the recidivism and the 3-strike law in California, and she was against these modifications. She was against the change of this legislation, and people said, well, mass incarceration is a major issue in America, just like everything else.
It absolutely is.
So, but her stance was always, top cop. I'm for locking them up.
And now you are a cracker with a tan up there trying to get the black vote. The same ones she was locking up.
She's Indian and black.
Go away.
Right.
Let me tell you, because they're using you anyway, right, to divide the black vote amongst the Democrats. When it come down to it, you won't be there.
So, but, people say, yeah, go Kamala. Go, girl.
Yes,
go
away.
And then did you see, now this is not a knock on her, but I, once again, always have to pose this question to my peoples. Can you be good to us if she's married to a white man? So I'm not saying that takes away from her blackness. Before you jump on me,
I'm saying it does.
Okay, well, we'll roll with it then.
I'm saying.
Go ahead, big fella.
Well, here, we don't even have to make it to her white husband. All you have to do is look at her actions. Actions speak louder than words, right? So any lie she can get up there and tell you, just look at her actions. How good has she been for black people?
Now, she did pass some legislation in, I believe it was in San Francisco. She started a program that actually it was for young people. And it actually had reduced incarceration for, I think, the youth by 54%. So it went from 54% to 6%. And people were saying she did a great job. But I'm just telling you, there's some things that she has, I guess, potentially done. Because you get picked, right? So if you're a senator and, you get picked. She's a senator, by the way. I said she had the same law enforcement job in LA, but she's now a senator.
Yes.
So you usually get plucked from the ranks and say, you know what? You should represent the African American vote in this election.
Because you can pass as black.
Right.
Not that you are.
People say it would be a very big victory for it to be our first black woman.
People say a lot of
president. Well, to be the first woman president, but for her to be a black woman, people are saying you can get the Oprah crowd with that girl.
I don't have a problem with a woman being president. I'm not that chauvinistic. I would have a problem with her being president,
though. And is it because of her
past?
Okay.
It's because of the relationship she has built with the black community through her actions in her position.
Okay. I can accept that.
Yes, sir.
You know what? It's early in the game for me. So, I have to see how this thing is going to pan out. Once again, I'm really into asking politicians tough questions. And if they can't answer them, then it's like my brother said, it's like, go away. But I just thought they gave her a lot of props and said she dominated. She made Joe Biden look silly. But she basically interrupted. They were having a conversation about race relations. She was like, well, since I'm black, y'all should let me talk. And I was like, ooh. Well, she was the only black person out there. How the fuck you gonna have a conversation about race relations and the only black person in the room ain't saying nothing? Like, that's some wild shit. So I thought, wow, they gave her, that's like getting 12 points for writing your name on the test.
Thank you. You speak Spanish and you take Spanish class,
hey,
right?
You come to the class and say, see,
and
the teacher be like, take the point.
You from Ecuador,
right?
You know what I mean?
So yeah, complicated, man. Like, really? What kind of game is that, man? But I like I say, some people, especially my people of color, will say, I don't give a damn who she worked for, what she did. If it's a black woman in the race, I'm voting for her.
That thought holds us back.
Okay.
That thought, forgive me, this is my opinion. That's a stupid way to think. Like, any revolution, any cause, any group of people that tried to get anything accomplished, they had Benedict Arnolds, they had Judases, they had haters, they had people that were trying to stop their cause.
Right.
And whether they were the same ethnicity or not, those people are trying to stop your cause. So just because somebody is black like me, but they doing the opposite of what I believe needs to be done, come on, that's dumb.
The terminology they're using for Kamala Harris is, she might be skin folk, but she ain't kin folk. So that's like the on the Revolutionary Wire.
Hey,
that's how they talk about
look,
it. Right?
I don't disagree with that.
Right. And then we have, speaking of complicated, Summerfest, which ain't complicated. It's a music festival.
Get drunk and eat. Yeah. Right.
But Lizzo got handled. Her staff got handled last night, I think. But if you hear, it's like Sterling Brown with the Bucks, right? When he got roughed up by the police. Obviously, the brother's not from here. Because to us, that's nothing. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, you went to Summerfest. Oh, you got into it with the security? Yeah, man, motherfucker got me and pulled me out. It's like you hear that story from brothers all the time. But I guess by her being a celebrity, and I looked high and low. I couldn't find out exactly what happened. It just said that somebody got tackled and roughed up, and she said
that they were racist, right?
Yeah.
She called them.
Oh, no doubt.
Welcome to Milwaukee.
Oh yeah.
Well, welcome to Milwaukee.
Call Kamal Bell.
Listen, welcome. This is what they do here.
Right.
Again, you know what complicates it? The image that they put out, right? When they show how great Milwaukee is, and come tour, come vacation in Wisconsin, right? You know what I'm saying? But they won't take you over there on Valete. They won't. They're not taking you on Locust.
Now,
right?
Mayor Bear said this city is a city of inclusion.
Listen, so that lie is what complicates things, because there are people that actually believe him because he's the mayor, not understanding that he got there by lying. That means he's a better liar than the rest. 2020
is coming up. We got a mayoral election.
There'll be another lie
about to pop off. We got a bunch of aldermen, and really, I don't know how everybody else's city runs, but if you live in Milwaukee, you are aware we have a common council, which is supposed to be, I guess, a district representative geographically, depending on where you live. It's supposed to be your voice, your representation downtown to this council that advises the mayor and works with the mayor to get things done. That's uncomplicated what an alderman is.
Right.
So a lot of those elections are up, and I'm still waiting on. Shout out to Chris Johnson and Kingfish MKE.
Yes.
Most definitely got a shout out, Chris, man. That's my guy right there. He's shooting me some information about everybody that's running against the incumbents. So you're going to hear me on my show consistently say, don't vote for any incumbents. The city's in this city's in shit mode. So why would you vote for anybody that's down there now? Like, And most of them, like I said, have been elected. This will be their third rodeo, some fourth and fifth. So they've been reelected. So on your watch, the city's gotten worse. So we need to seek out and find new leaders and a new breed of leadership and a new type of leader, a more responsible, accountable leader that really cares about the community. And we still know the feds is running buck wild through the Milwaukee government. There's so many cats, and it ain't over. You think it's over? It ain't just in with Willie Wade and my man's at the school board, Michael Bonds and LaFave and the alderman who had to step down. And you don't know who's next. Because I know for a fact when the school board Bonds got caught, he said, I'm working with y'all. Off top, he said, I'm cooperating. So if you did business with that brother, boy, hope you got a good lawyer, as they say. And then we know, hey, they got Willie Wade. Mm-hmm. So, hey, never know what's going to go down, man. And you got to really be careful when you deal with Milwaukee politics, because it is such a hole, man. It's a black hole, and it has to be dealt with, man. We got to figure out some way to get these cats out of here and get people involved who are really going to care about what's going on in Milwaukee, not just about wearing your new suit, but really figuring out what needs to be done for the people.
Real talk, because black aldermen, common council, we still came in second as far as black murders, right? We still on the top of the most segregated cities list in the nation. Like we still keep making the top of all the lists that we don't want to be on, and we make it annually. And what are you doing? What are you done? We still know that this is a place that's a hub for sex trafficking. You know what I'm saying? What's your plan? What's your plan for the reform, right? So again, it's just a game. The only thing that makes it complicated is that they lie, and there's people that we put in office because we trust them, but they speak government, right? They speak, and it's a whole other language. You talk about complicated, and my thing is that they make things complicated. Let me just give you a couple examples. If you have a car, right? You used to have a car. You used to be able to take your car to anybody who knew how to fix cars, but they began to put things in like a special kind of screw, which means you need a special kind of screwdriver that you have to get from them. Not anybody would be able to fix your car. They made that complicated. It didn't have to be. For every dollar that you spend at the bank, they have a way of sitting around and trying to figure out how much of it they can get back for you. That's why you have fee, this fee, and that fee. And there's a fee for you to go talk to a person about your money, and they'll charge you for that. And then there's an ATM fee for you to go. So again, it's a way to get everybody a piece of the pie. It doesn't have to be complicated. The only thing is we're dealing with a bunch of liars, and they are the masters of spin, right?
Right. Shout out to everybody who was watching on Facebook Live.
Yeah.
I did have to reset the live because it was very wacky. I don't know what's going on with it. So I reset it. Right. So you're going back into the conversation.
Please do.
On YouTube, we didn't miss a beat. So subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's one of the advantages because YouTube crashes way less than Facebook does.
Yeah.
But so yeah, man, we were talking about
on the page and look at some of the archive shows too, man. I'm still trying to get people to try to get people. A lot of them did and liked it, but trying to get more people to look at that black and white, man.
Oh yeah, yes, definitely. We got to put some push on that.
I love that episode.
Got to put some push on that.
Episode 1, y'all.
Yeah. And you know what? I put it up so much when we first had it.
We did it. No, that's okay.
I think that we got to get at some more motivate, some more steam out there a little bit more. Already on it is complicated. My stream is very complicated right now, so I don't know what the hell is going on. So if you drop the show drops, let me know, and let me know if y'all can hear me loud and clear. Now they didn't do nothing to her personally, but it was one of her staff people that must have got roughed up, and he must have zigged when he should have zagged.
So if she hadn't been famous enough for her to tell her story, we would have never known about it. It'd have been a regular thing that goes down 1,000 times a day here.
Yeah, well, it's status quo for Milwaukee.
Yes,
police
sir.
Beat your ass every now and then.
Hello, somebody.
Right, that's what they do. I did see a article that was talking about because I hear a lot of politicians hanging their hat on what they think right now is. Unemployment is at an all-time low, and there's jobs out here, and people are All they have to do is pull themselves up by their bootstraps. And I've seen this article that stated, and it's in the People's News Network, if you need to see it. The article was in regards to poverty being stagnant in Wisconsin. Like right now, you talk about the unemployment being low, but poverty and the poverty levels here haven't changed. And in particular in the Black community, the poverty levels change. So it's like, you know, what when you approach it and they say, well, that's complicated. Once again, now my brother would say, well, it's only complicated because you made it complicated. But I think they know that they did make it complicated.
Absolutely.
When we talk about, you know, wealth inequalities in Milwaukee.
First of all, poverty levels, for you to link them with unemployment is trickery, right?
Right.
Because you know what, there are a lot of people that have full-time employment and still can't pay their rent, still have to choose between their medications and food, right?
The working poor.
So the poverty levels, if you're not raising minimum wage and things like that, according to, you know, inflation and the numbers that go up, the poverty levels don't change. Not to mention that they manipulated even the term employed, right? So if, you know, they changed the parameters. So if you're somebody who cuts grass and you cut somebody's grass and you made, if they're concerned, you are employed.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So you go off the unemployment list again. So that's what makes it complicated when they begin to do with the lies and the trickery.
Right. So when you read this article and you look at all these indicators, and then you start to look at, you know, all the sidebars, the effects of poverty. Poverty has a lot of effects on, you know, especially the generational poverty. And generational poverty is one of the biggest things that affects, you know, here in Milwaukee right now in Wisconsin. Generational poverty is so bad because you got families who basically been poor forever. And, you know, this brother's in and out of jail. My sister's in and out of jail, whoever, mama, daddy, mama, and we got these communities full of these people who come from these families that have been poor for their last 3 generations. So, you know, it turns into a serious problem because you say, well, how are they supposed to do something greater than the generation before them? So, you know, generational poverty in Milwaukee is a very, very, very big problem. And, you know, how do you change that? Well, we thought you change it by somebody breaking the cycle. I'm gonna go to school, I'm gonna get a degree or whatever. But then, you know, in a lot of cases, you go do that, and you come home, and you still can't get over it. And you damn sure reach back and help you. So it makes you say, you know, what the hell? Like, you want to try, but you want to quit. You want to start, but you want to stop. You want to run, but you want to walk. Like, that's a very complicated situation to be in. You want to be motivated, but you just don't trust society enough to do so.
Yeah, man. there's some lying mofos, right? Yeah, and that's all understand what it is. Yeah, to me it's a burden sometimes because I can probably come off a certain way because to me it's not complicated. Like I have a little bit of discernment. I can look and see what you've done versus what you tell me. You can't lie to me with your actions, right? Because I'm watching what you do. So you can say what you want, but that, you know, to me as I get older, especially, means less and less. I'm watching what you do. So that tells me about you.
Well, I tell you what, if you don't find solutions to problems, that's just like having a sore on your body. If you don't ever do anything to help it heal, it's not gonna get better. So as we let things stay, you know, they say the devil is in the details about anything. You get lost and tied up about any kind of discussion. You study long, you study wrong, which is why we don't have comprehensive plans to handle most of the stuff we've discussed on the show tonight.
It's in their playbook. Like, once you've seen it so many times, you know, let's audible. Let's have some kind of defense. Come on, we've seen it.
No doubt. I don't know what's going on with my Facebook feed tonight, but it's definitely wacky. So if you're watching the show, I don't have a cricket phone, so it's not my fault. I promise you. Right. Government phone, they call it my Obama phone. Then I seen a very interesting study. Saturday Night Outlaw Radio is complicated, so I'm just kind of discussing some of the strange things that I've seen.
Yes, sir.
I seen this research about, you know, who do people associate in terms of their racial identity when it comes to crime? Well, the answer to that is Black people I mean, to white people, I think 66% of them identify the black face, period. When they see a black person, they think about crime, violence, and poverty. They associate us with that. That's our image to them. That's their perception of us. And once again, it's a study, and I'm sitting there saying, damn, somebody spent some money to do that. Somebody, like, you could have asked somebody in the hood that they would have gave you an answer for that real quick. Like, you know what I'm saying? But I don't, y'all, how much money did y'all waste on that study? Like, and but they was like black and white, and the reaction that people had from, you know, them being black or white.
So they have a real good understanding of it, right?
Right.
And so that's why it's so important. Millionaire, billionaire black people, right? How come they are always unsuccessful when they try to go buy a studio? You know what I mean? When they try to buy a network, excuse me, they're unable. It seems to be very important. We talked about that the other day, whether it was Bill Cosby, who was the last dude was Byron Allen, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's very important to them for some reason that we not have control of our own image and how we are perceived. And, you know, read into that, definitely.
Ain't it crazy, though, that you would say pull yourself up by your bootstraps and go out there and make it happen, and ain't no such thing as a glass ceiling. But then you look at Byron Allen, who's dealing with hundreds of millions of dollars, who owns television networks, and there's an issue with him getting his networks on Comcast cable. Like, what does that say to the rest of us? Like, you know, it's a bleak picture for me to look at. Even if a brother get hundreds of $millions,
you're
still somebody on some bullshit with it.
Well, but you got to keep in mind.
Child support paid that.
When you talk about a bunch of slave owners who wanted to be free.
Okay.
Right, and so they established their own country, however, you know, dirty and full of debauchery, however they did it. But just the hypocrisy in the people themselves, slave owners who wanted to be free. They came here because they couldn't. So what we've been taught, because they couldn't practice their religion, so on and so forth. But you wanted to own slave. I mean, it's the same group of people. You know, the pink devils. I don't expect anything less.
Now they did catch up to this in Racine in the bar, and they had this brother
was fresh out of jail too.
Well, he had just got out. Yeah.
Man. Like,
he
wow.
just got out of jail for a robbery.
He didn't even marinate good.
Yeah, son, come on.
You know what I'm saying? I go to church. If that helps you.
You just took recidivism to a whole nother level.
Yeah, come on, bro.
Goodness gracious, man. Come on, man. Man, that's wild right there. That's wild. And, you know, like I said, condolences to the Cops family, man. That's who lost his son and his wife. And I seen some person who had put up a post on social media said, well, you know, you was quick to kill a cop in the bar, but why you just didn't have court when they came to arrest you? Because you finna do life. You ain't never getting out of jail. When you finna get put in solitary confinement once you go to prison in Wisconsin with the reputation of a cop killer. Yeah, it's going to be rough on you, son.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't you just blaze him out? You know, and he's like smiling. I don't know. They got to test this brother Saturday.
No, let me tell you, listen, he's smiling now. It'll be a lot of dark, lonely moments. You know what I'm saying? And you got to
get him out now. You better smile now.
A lot of time to reflect, brother. Let me tell you, me personally, I don't. That's for animals, right? And well, first of all, I was going to say, like, that type of stuff should be for violent criminals, but that's what we talk about, a violent criminal.
Right.
But, you know, otherwise cats shouldn't be locked in cages, man, for, you know what I'm saying, non-violent crimes and whatnot. But no, he gonna have a hard time, brother. Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's about to go down.
Yeah.
It's about to go down with him.
I don't, sorry, bro.
Nah, hey, he was smiling. So like you said, yeah, he said, oh, dance now with your big ass.
Yeah.
Then my man Giannis won the MVP. The NBA, right. The Greek freak.
Yes,
he won the MVP for the NBA.
I wonder if Giannis ever been in the hood. Anybody ever take Giannis and show him how black people live in Milwaukee?
I'm sure they've told him where not to go.
Yeah, and Giannis, I'm a fan. I got a Bucks cap on. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just, you know, there are two Milwaukees. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah. Come to the other one sometime. Check us out.
I'm not mad at Giannis winning it.
Not at all.
I'm happy for him. But you know, like you said, there is no social responsibility. His brother ain't.
Well, but I don't blame him because he's not from here.
Right.
He's not a
American,
African American colored
I'm wondering how
black
you're going to describe
person,
him.
right?
He's African American colored black person.
He's not from he's,
Until the police pull him off.
Well, let me tell you, when they do, I think
Yeah.
here in Milwaukee, even they'll be like, Giannis.
Right. Hey,
Officer Chad is gonna be extra
free,
nice.
man.
Right.
But they already wouldn't let him. Like he went to a restaurant after a game one time, and they wouldn't serve him and shit. Like he had to leave. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Well,
but I don't. His mentality is not of like you just said.
He ain't obligated to us.
Well, no,
I'm not mad at him.
No. Well, he is because he's playing in our community.
Okay.
He represents our. Well, not really.
He's not culturally obligated to us. Is that a better way to say it?
Well, you would think if you're going, play in the city, you at least, come down through the hood and wave at the little ghetto kids or something.
Well, I mean, Tim Thomas and Big Dog used to come and
yeah. How did it work out for you, Big Dog?
That was pretty well, and they was all in the hood, right?
It was all looking through here.
Yeah.
All the boat parked at the lake. It was going down.
Come on, man.
So Giannis is a feel-good story for the NBA, man. He's he represents the dream. Like you come up and pour in Greece selling trinkets on the street, and then you make this little thing where you say, "I'm going to play in the NBA one day. I want to take care of my family." He's supposed to be African, but he's a feel-good story, and I ain't mad.
No, I ain't mad at all.
And
man.
I think the brother
do your thing.
You got exposed a little bit by my man's in the playoffs, but
listen, bro, come back at least with a 5-foot mid-range.
Right, you got to be able to shoot from
we
the
need
elbow,
we need to when you do that, man. That's what I'm hoping.
And Coach Budenholzer got Coach of the Year.
Booten.
These dudes swept the awards. They just missed one important one.
Which one?
The finals trophy. Damn, son.
Damn.
Right. Hey, but shout out to Giannis. He got his shoe out. Shoe don't look that bad, I like sneakers.
I only seen the Dayglow orange one, and it just
wasn't your cup of tea.
I might get it for a nightlight. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, then. When you walking at night, power walking, you see Jason with some orange sneakers, power walking through the park, right? Is that Jason? That brother talk, man.
Glowing.
Right. He just out here representing. But yeah, man, congratulations to Giannis.
Shout out.
The Bucks had a good year, man.
They
It felt
did.
good to see. We rarely get any good news in this regular season.
But and he earned the awards.
Oh yeah,
right?
because he got to talk about his father. And his father passed a couple years ago. So yeah, that was heartfelt, man.
Right. So that should make you feel better. Like we seen Tender Vittles from Philadelphia cry. What's his name? MB?
Yeah.
So we seen him cry.
Crying in Becky's arms.
Yes.
It's going to be okay. I feel so bad. I'm killing him with the African accent tonight. I'm killing him.
So
yeah, man.
So we got joys of tears. I mean, tears of joy and tears of sadness.
Right?
The agony of defeat.
Oh man. Now on that same topic, since we're talking about basketball, it's Saturday night. We can do these types of things.
Yes, sir.
I know y'all getting ready to go out and have a good time. Be careful. Keep your head on the swivel, man. Be safe out here.
Yeah.
And leave the guns at home, man. If you go in the party, but then you say, well, they gonna bring theirs. I ain't leaving mine. Well, that's a sad, unfortunate reality as well.
Then consider if you want to even go out. Then
it makes going out complicated.
It does. Yes, touche. I'll give you that one. Because
it makes it complicated.
Sometimes by the time I start getting dressed to go out, I didn't talk myself out of it.
No, that's just because you only be sleeping.
Some of that.
Down. I'm gonna iron them pants in a minute.
Well, first of all, if you iron them pants, you old. Right?
And especially if you still crease them.
Right. I call that the anti-sap.
My kids get at me all the time, like, Dad, why is you creasing your pants? Like, well, boy, you ain't sharp unless you got a crease.
The captain took some time. I love that shit.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. But back to basketball.
Yeah.
What's going on in LA? Because we see they got AD, they got LeBron. They trying to get, if they get Kawhi, the rest of the NBA is in some serious trouble.
Let me tell you, I still listen. First of all, that's a super ultra mega team. I give that up.
But you add role players.
But I was gonna say they can't win with three versus five.
No. Yeah, but if you got a big three though, that's where it all started for all the super teams.
I concur. I'm just saying, So first of all, then that tells you, KD, stay where you at. You know what I'm saying? Because y'all gonna be the only ones that can even get with these
KD's
cats.
a non-factor next season.
Next season, yes. Yeah. Well, these dudes, even with the big three, I don't think they're gonna come in and just win the title their first year together. I don't see that.
Well, with the Warriors being down, okay,
Mm-hmm.
the Warriors are a man short without KD.
They're gonna be two because Clay hurt too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And
so they're not even Golden State is not a factor for next year.
Yeah, there's a hole in the bucket.
Right.
Unless they pull off some great moves, which I don't see it because Kemba's going to Boston.
But here
I had hoped he would come to Milwaukee.
But they could still. Well, they just gave Bledsoe all that money.
He didn't want to get treated like Lizzo. So
listen, and white people in Milwaukee, some of these black players hear how racist it is here and don't want to come here.
Oh yeah, they be like, man,
come on now.
Gary Payton, when he played for the Bucks, he never moved out the hotel. He stayed in it. He stayed in the hotel the whole
wisdom. And they probably talked about him. The nigga stuck up. He think he too good.
He was like, we ain't finna live here.
Right.
You know, he from Oakland though. He wasn't finna. I'm sure his, he had a home.
You can be from Minnesota and come here like, damn, this is fucked up, man.
St. Paul.
Went back to Minnesota.
Yeah, man. But you know what? Like I said, if they could get Kawhi. And it's just me thinking, outside the box because the season's over.
Mm-hmm.
If they could get Kawhi, man, and then add a couple, real role players.
You ready to be a Lakers fan again, brother?
No, I'm just looking at the team.
Because I don't think Kawhi going. First of all,
no, that's true.
I don't think he going.
Well, supposedly he requested a meeting, and he said in his meeting he only wanted Jeanie Buss and Magic there.
Oh, Magic is back with the squad.
Well, no, but Kawhi. Now this is something I've seen in passing, so it may not even be true. So if you see it didn't happen, don't be mad at me and shit.
No,
I'm not talking. I'm talking to everybody out there. Like, Kev lied on the show, man. I ain't see that. But there's some.
Keep listening.
They said that he requested a meeting. We went to talk to the Lakers, or he's going to talk to the Lakers. I'm sorry, and he demands that it's just Jeanie Buss and Magic. I don't know.
He didn't want the Rambai there.
I don't know. I don't know if it's true. First of all, so I don't know who else. So we'll see if this happens. But I think if he goes sit down with Magic, that's almost like saying, because they cleared enough cap space for another max salary.
That's saying after my career, bro, how can you look out for me? You know what I'm saying? When I get done playing this game, how can I be a mogul?
Can I referee over here?
How can I be a mogul?
Right.
And Magic, like, I get a couple of these Starbucks.
So you got to get a theater, boy. You got to move the house. But yeah, man. So the Lakers, hey, I'm just watching because the NBA at a certain point during the summer, the NBA all of a sudden just start throwing around money. Like last year, it was like every time you turned on the TV because they had all this money from the TV deals and whatnot. And it was just like cats is getting 5 years, $95 million.
NFL take note.
Right.
This is what y'all need to be doing. Go ahead, bro.
Cheap ass. NFL with their cheap ass. They don't want to pay nobody.
Hello, somebody.
If you're just joining back to the live because the other one, it crashed, I had to start it over. Looks like we are going a little bit smoother now on Facebook with our Facebook live. Hit share, hit follow, hit like, do something. Support the movement. We need the support. We'll be on Wednesday night with the Warrior Report.
Yes, sir.
And we'll do the Thursday night edition out already on the Saturday night edition.
And it don't stop.
Working very hard to get things done. And I got a little razzle dazzle coming, so y'all just be patient. We're gonna spice this thing up.
He don't tell me either. Don't worry.
Right. This ain't a Chinese secret, right? Type shit. So yeah, man, Outlaw Radio complicated. Now this is something I heard that's very funny too, and I question this, but I'd like to know if there's some validity to it. Supposedly, Shaka Khan was on the what's the show? What's Next? With Andy Cohen.
Okay.
And he asked her for a Hollywood secret that people don't know, but it's something that's really big. She said that Stevie Wonder is not blind.
Listen, I read where he did gain his several years back, but I really like standing in line and seeing it like on a tabloid. Right. So I didn't think much. I didn't just bullshit. You know what I mean? I paid for my my
ET did the surgery. Right.
But I do recall reading that for real.
Yeah, supposedly Stevie Wonder had a surgery a while ago that gave him his sight back. Now, not full vision,
right?
But just because they say his vision is so poor that they say he's
still legally blind, right?
But
oatmeal is better than no meal,
right?
And if you was born blind from birth?
Yeah. Well, no, I think he was. I thought that he could see, and then something happened.
I thought that was Ray Charles.
I don't know.
Well, we
don't give me the
right. Somebody correct us if we're wrong.
I'm no Stevie Wonder.
But I think that was Ray Charles. My understanding was Stevie was born.
Yeah, we know from the movie Ray Charles could see at first, and then he went white-eyed.
Right.
But I don't know if Stevie could see at first and then went blind. I don't know. I thought I recall reading that.
Well, somebody help us out.
He at first he could see when he was a child. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I just think
wouldn't bet on it.
And I guess he kind of confirmed it in some interviews where he said he's going to have a reveal in 2019 that's going to be very big. I don't know what he's talking about. Maybe he got a new album. I don't know. But I just think, and I've heard so many celebrities over the years say jokes about that. Like Stevie Wonder ain't blind. I remember Charlie Murphy was telling a story about Stevie Wonder being in the studio boxing with somebody.
Okay.
Like, slap boxing with somebody. And I'm sitting there thinking, well, how in the hell is that possible? But so I don't know, man. But I think that's like my Hollywood wow of the week.
No, that's noteworthy. Absolutely.
And then I see that they gave the white supremacist cat in where did they have the car right up on the crowd when he drove through the crowd and killed the girl.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I can't back in.
Yeah, it was back earlier last year, I think it was, where he got life. So he's going to the Bing. So he'll be in
Now let me ask you, is anybody sad about that?
Is anybody sad that he got life?
Yeah.
Well, I would hope not.
I mean,
these kinds of things, like it's once again, if you're just tuning in, and like I said, I had some problems with the Facebook feed tonight. It looked like it's doing pretty well right now. The YouTube is okay. Clearly, Clever said it was jumping around. Sometimes when you got 50 million people hooked up to the internet, it can only take so much pressure. And it's like 3,000 people in my house hooked up to the internet. So, damn. Turn some of that shit off. Two TVs and phones and computers and laptops. And so, yeah, it breaks. It breaks under the pressure. But we were talking about complicated tonight. You can go back and watch the first part of the live.
Everything's archived. Y'all go check it out.
Yeah, we was talking about, Black people in this country having very complicated relationships with a lot of things, such as the police,
and why
the government, the political system.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about the complications being made for reparations, the stipulations. How do we structure it? How do we do it?
Right.
And we talk about how can we fix our public school system. Right away, that conversation gets complicated. Like right now, I'm looking at literacy for young Black males, and I'm doing a study on how poverty affects literacy. And I've read so many books that have different definitions or different versions or different hypotheses about different theories about why and how poverty can affect learning and education, which, you look at your public school system, you say, why are most of our kids dropping out of high school? Well, I think a lot of that's directly connected to literacy levels. Because let's be honest, if you sit in the class and you can't really read, you really have no interest in being there. So you're like, shit, I could be somewhere else doing something else to give me some money because I can't read. I don't know what the hell they're talking about. So it increases the likelihood that you're going to be a dropout. Now, some people are functionally illiterate because there's different levels to literature, right? Or being literacy. Yeah, literacy. I'm sorry. So some people are functioning illiterate. So that means they know just enough to get by. They know the sign says stop. They know how to spell Big Mac so they can look like they reading off the board.
Give me a number 4.
Right. Give me a Big Mac value meal. You want a 2 or what? Just give me the damn Big Mac and some fries and a soda. But you have functioning. But if you can't really read well and comprehend, and you don't have a high level of comprehension, then you're gonna have a hard time in this society because the way they even with the internet, when you on the internet, you got to be able to read. I know some of y'all on the internet can't spell because cats, and please, you know what? I'm not mad at my people, and I know we talk the way we talk. I don't mean to be a grammar Nazi. It's the end of the show, so I can go in and out of topic if I want to. I hate to see somebody say, oh, my so-and-so and so is gone. I'm at a lost for words. LOST. Listen, it's not lost for words. It's a loss for words.
Loss.
LOSS, right? Like, this is one of the things that
no pet peeve.
Right. I see that. Come on, brother. I was sad till I seen you didn't spell lost, right? Shout out to Mr. Terry down at 3041 North.
5-star.
Yes, sir. 414-810-3131. I did shout him out at the beginning of the show. Miss Serena Brown to get motivated and get healthy Facebook wellness group.
Yes, sir.
Brother Kamar Carter with the Heal Thyself Facebook group.
Yes, sir.
Brother Carter will be on here Wednesday night when we do the Warrior Report. We'll get into some more holistic conversations about us taking our medicine instead of their medicine, right?
Yeah.
I got to get my homeboy Gigolo Jackson up in here. We've been planning on getting him on. I'm gonna get him on. The brother's funny. I'm actually gonna call him within the next 24 hours and get this all set up so this brother can come in here and have us dying laughing. Shout out to Coop, man.
Shout out Coop.
KT killing them. I hope the project's doing well.
What's going
Love
on,
drugs.
Yeah, right.
Love on drugs, right?
Right.
So shout out to him, man.
Shout out, man.
You got anything on your thing? Anything pertinent you seen that you said, I'm gonna talk about this on the damn show?
Man, just the whole complicated thing, man. I didn't want to complicate it any further.
Right, and I don't think you could do that because we already did a pretty good job of that.
Right.
Like I said, man, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. So it's been one. We will next see you Wednesday. Please go to the YouTube page and subscribe. Please follow the Twitter page. Please support the Instagram page. All of it's the People's Network. So join the People's News Network Facebook group, which is also my group. Shout out to my brother in the mighty Mississippi down there, living his best life with his puppies. Yeah. My brother wanted to blow town so bad so he can go and be with his dog. So it's funny. Hope the weather stays the same, man. I hope y'all stay safe tonight, I should say. Saved and safe, right?
You mean you're going to church?
Right. It could be either or, right? Yeah. I hope y'all stay that way, man. Yeah. It's like I said, man. We got to stop really arguing about the argument. And black people tend to do that. Like, we get into it about some shit that ain't got nothing to do with nothing. We need to trim the fat, because when it comes down to improving our community, we have more control than we allow ourselves to believe, right? So voting is key, but being an informed voter is very key. Pay attention to what they're doing to us. Pay attention to the rights and the wrongs that are done by people who are supposed to represent us, man. And don't lose sight of it, because when you stop being pissed off, then you start getting pissed on. So I don't know which one you'd rather be. I want y'all to have a safe night, like I said. Check us out next week. Share the live. You can always watch the shows. They're all archived everywhere. More to come on Outlaw Radio. I want to say peace. Your boy KB. Be safe, y'all. I might see y'all somewhere. Stay on the stool.